Hello everyone, my name is Dad of War, and this is my guide to Dracula, the Immortal King. Dracula is a level 90 tall, dark and handsome final boss of vrising. In this video I will cover Dracula's abilities, spells and gear I used to beat him, strategy I used to beat him, and my latest kill of Dracula. Dracula has a range of diverse abilities that you need to be aware of. First is Dracula's double swing. Drac will flip his sword back and send 2 red waves towards you. To avoid these attacks, simply move left and then right. Second is blood discs. Drac will teleport behind a pillar and throw 2 discs that will curve around the pillar as they try to hit you. Easiest way to avoid them is to use Blood Right ability. As long as one of them hits you, the second disc will finish its path and disappear. Third is Drac's Slam ability. Usually followed right after blood discs, Drac will quickly dash twice behind the player, jump in the air, and slam the ground in a straight line. You can either sidestep or use Veil of Chaos to dodge this ability. Fourth ability is Drac's Thrust. This time Drac will dash once and attempt to thrust you with his sword. Sidestep this ability to avoid taking damage. Fifth ability is Drac's Blood Nova. During this ability, Drac will stand still and after a short delay send out 7 large blood bolts in a circle. Bolts will be marked on the ground before they are sent out. Simply take a few steps back and stand in between blood bolts to avoid taking damage. Sixth ability is True Darkness. Drac stands still and summons a shrinking circle. While the circle is shrinking, Drac also summons blood arrows in a circular pattern emanating from him to the edge of the circle. Stay close to Drac until the circle stops shrinking and then run out of the circle. Seventh ability is Summon Bats. Drac will throw out 2 blood circles who will turn into bats that target a few steps ahead of you and charge in a straight line. Once the bats complete their charge, they will disappear. Simply change the direction of where you're going to avoid getting hit by a bat. Eighth and last phase 1 ability is Darkness Consumes You. During this ability, Drac will disappear and continuously summon bats that target a few steps ahead of you. Bats are easy to avoid by changing direction of where you're going. Do not use Veil of Chaos to dodge bats, as you will need it to avoid Drac's final hit at the end of this ability. At about 60%, Drac will teleport to the middle of the room, explode the 4 pillars, and lose his shirt. This is phase 2. In phase 2, Drac gets an upgrade to some of his abilities and gains some new abilities that you need to be aware of. Double Swing now sends 4 wave attacks at a faster rate. Continue moving left to right after each wave to avoid incoming damage. The further you are away from Drac, the easier it is to dodge each wave. Drac's Thrust now deals damage in a wide, straight line after a short delay. Move out of the line to avoid taking damage. Continue to sidestep this ability to avoid taking damage. Drac's Slam has Drac fly up in the air and slam the ground, dealing damage in a cone in front of him. Feel free to use your Veil of Chaos or sidestep this ability. Barrage is a new ability which has Drac summon a wall of blood arrows that travel at a slight angle after a short delay. You can either use Blood Right or step in between some arrows as they fly by. Rain of Swords ability has Drac summon swords that hover in the air and crash on the ground, dealing damage to areas highlighted by red circles. Move out of the circles to avoid taking damage. Blood Nova is exactly the same, but now the blood bolts will leave a large puddle of blood at the end of their path, which will explode after a short delay. Sidestep the bolts and stay close to Drac. True Darkness is exactly the same as in phase 1. Occasionally, Drac will summon a large blood crystal which hovers in a circular pattern around the edge of the arena. The crystal will continue to hover until you destroy it. If you enter the crystal's large marked area, you will take damage until you yourself damage the crystal. Drac will continue to summon these crystals throughout phase 2, and it is very important not to let more than 1 crystal to be in the arena. The damage from these crystals can kill you and will make Drac's abilities harder to manage. Immortal King's Might is Drac's most damaging ability. During it, Drac will teleport to the center of the room and channel blood arrows towards you. You need to go as far back as possible and simply follow the room's edge. This will give you enough time to see incoming arrows and avoid them. During this ability, Drac will also have 4 beams of energy, splitting the room into quarters. Beams will slowly rotate like a clock. If you reach the edge of the quarter and have nowhere to run, you can use Veil of Chaos to dash the opposite direction and continue to dodge the arrows. In Phase 2, many of Drax's abilities can overlap, and it is very important to dodge as many as possible while still damaging Drac. You can drink Blood Rose Potion to heal yourself after taking a hit from Drac, but it is very important to be familiar and comfortable with Drac's abilities. For this fight, I used Dracula's Shadow set and Shadow Moon chest piece for extra movement speed and extra physical crit chance. I also used Soul Shard of Solaris. Ultimate on it isn't that great, but 15% extra damage to vampires makes up for it. For my weapon, I used Unholy Infused Reaper and Illusion Infused Pistols for extra damage and extra damage reduction. I used Rogue's Blood for extra critical strike on weapon attacks, extra movement speed, and reduced Veil cooldown. If you are still having trouble, you can always wait for Blood Moon for extra 10% buff to movement speed and 20% blood type effects buff. Use Potion of Rage for 6 physical power buff, Witch Potion for 6 spell power buff, and Vampiric Brew for 10% spell leech and 5% blood type buff. As mentioned earlier, use Blood Rose Potion when you can to recover as much health as possible. You want to start Phase 2 either at 100% or as close to that as possible. For the fight strategy, I use Reaper's E ability, Howling Reaper, to do as much damage as possible when Drac stands still. Chaos Volley and Pistol's basic attack to deal damage to Drac at a distance, and occasionally use Pistol's Q ability, Fan the Hammer, to do some extra damage. Try to sidestep Drac's Double Swing, Thrust, and Blood Nova abilities as much as possible, and save your Blood Right for Blood Discs, Barrage, or Last Resort on Immortal King's Might abilities. Use your Veil of Chaos to avoid taking damage during True Darkness, and switch directions during Immortal King's Might abilities. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like and share it. For more vrising content, subscribe to my channel.
This is what it means to be king. This is eternal power.